And welcome back to the End of the Fourth football show. We are a show now, we're not a podcast anymore. It is me, your host, B-Hizzy, aka Brendanhurst, and as always, I am joined by the fantastic, the one and only The Prez, Chris Mullaney. How are you doing, mate?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. Excited to talk some games.
That's it, my man. This is it. It was a very good week 14, and I'm here, and I'm not disappointed. I'm neutral about it all. I'm very. This means nothing to me. The Packers won a bye this week, so.
Yeah, but we'll get to it in a minute. We'll get to it.
It was okay. Well, we will start with what happened on Thursday night between the Los Angeles Rams and the Raiders, where the Rams came out as 17-16 winners against Las Vegas. What did you think?
I'm going to let you go first, actually.
I mean, when it comes down to it, is like I did lock up the Raiders, and I thought, look, I'll get my lock out of the way early. The Raiders are on a roll. The Rams are on a 6-game losing streak. They've got no quarterback. They've got no receivers, really. I mean, there's surely there's no way, right? And yet, there was a way. I did say it would be the most Raiders thing ever to lose this game. And sure enough, It did. And we did see Baker Mayfield, which I'm sure we're very happy about. I did say that I doubted we'd see him, but of course we did. He went 22 for 35, 230 yards and a touchdown, which is very, very impressive considering he'd been in the building and maybe only started learning the playbook in the last 48 hours prior to the game.
It's crazy. I mean, as you know, I was working Thursday. I watched every snap.
Mm-hmm.
And, obviously, you know how much I like Derek Carr.
Mm-hmm.
But when that punt went in at the end of the game
and
went to the 2-yard line, I'm like, come on, Baker. You've got to do it. Come on. It was, and it's one of those things, had it been in any other of the 31 stadiums in the NFL, I wouldn't have cared.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it was in Hollywood, and it was the Hollywood hero moment. And when the ball went to Van Jefferson, I'm like, go on, just catch it. Just catch it. I don't care how, just catch it. And
it was superb.
Get in there, and it wasn't that, I like Derek Carr, but, it doesn't matter. In moments like that, I was wanting Baker Mayfield to do it.
Yeah.
And what's it done? It saved his career. Because he will now, next season, be a Ram.
Yeah, you think?
Oh, he'll be a Ram next season, which will help one team in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Green Bay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because Aaron Rodgers will now not be an LA Ram.
I mean, when it comes down to it, it's like, do you not think that they would prefer to take Aaron Rodgers over Baker?
Oh, I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers is better than Baker Mayfield, and that's not for debate.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that they were the only team to claim the guy off waivers.
Mm-hmm.
Give the guy a chance. It's similar to what San Francisco did about two, maybe 3-4 years ago with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Mm-hmm.
The year that Sam Darnold got drafted,
mm-hmm.
They went and got Garoppolo the week about the trading deadline of the season before he got drafted. Brought him in for a half a year and went, okay, we think Garoppolo is good, but if he sucks, we'll go and get somebody out of college. Yeah. And of course, we all know how that ended, and Garoppolo is still a 49er. But had it not have worked, they brought the kid in, he learned the playbook. They're doing the same with Baker Mayfield. Give the kid a year. If he fails in style. But I want to see what he's like when he's got a healthy roster.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've seen, I like almost touching the surface with Baker in 2020 when, they had a stacked offensive line. They had a really good, we had a lot of good weapons. The defense was fearsome. And, sure enough, he played well enough that helped them not lose a playoff game. They beat they're a missed helmet-to-helmet call away from being in the AFC Championship game in that year. So, it's a tough one to look at, Baker, being out of the league now with a lot of what he's accomplished. I think I read a stat, I think it was something like he's the first quarterback in the Super Bowl era to win his first game after being 13 points down at one point.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's mad. It's absolutely crazy. So, we are, well, people know I'm a Baker fan. I like Baker. I like to see him do well, just purely out of the disrespect that he was given by Cleveland. And it didn't work out in Carolina, but, it looks promising so far for the Rams. And, their season is over. I don't think they will make the playoffs at 4-9. But, it's encouraging. Ben Skoranek was the leading receiver, 7 catches for 89 yards. I mean,
That's crazy.
This is catastrophically bad optics for the Raiders, right? A couple of weeks ago, they lost to an ESPN analyst who was sitting on his couch and had tweeted, "Oh, the Raiders look bad." And then he came off his couch. I think it was maybe the following week or 2 weeks later. I went and proved exactly what he was talking about when they lost to the Colts. And then in this game, they just lost to a quarterback. And I know Baker didn't start the game, but he made most of the impact, as we all know. The guy had the playbook for 48 hours at most, maybe.
Yep. And you know what? I enjoyed the game as a spectacle.
Mm-hmm.
I think Baker Mayfield, and you can't really. You see, people when they listen to this show are going to go, "Do they just talk about the winners?" What do you want to say about the Raiders? There was nothing in that game that was inspiring. If I was a Raiders fan, I would be embarrassed watching that and admitting I was a Raiders fan.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I do think that the Raiders now are playing for draft picks. I think that's what a lot of teams are doing. I think now, where do they need? Because the problem is they're not going to go 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
If they did they give up a first round for Devontae?
Just in last year's draft.
All right, just last year's draft. That's fine. So there's a lot of problems that the Raiders have. One of them's quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is when the quarterbacks come out, by the time they're picking, the good ones will be gone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. To be honest, I just think this is Josh McMuppet's system. There's no excusing getting Devontae Adams 3 catches. I know he had 71 yards. He had a great catch on Jalen Ramsey, but Jalen Ramsey pretty much had him locked up. But
that 100.
Yeah, but you scheme him. You need to scheme around Devontae Adams, and with Derek Carr, obviously the chemistry is there between those two. It's blatantly obvious that those two can play ball together, and they work together well. But I just think the scheme is what's killing them. Josh McDaniels it's just unfathomable what he's managed, and he should be one and done in my books. I think that the Raiders should go out and make a big push for DeMeco Ryans if they can, and bring in a pretty promising young offensive coordinator, potentially even Nathaniel Hackett if he's out the door in Denver after 1 year. Because we all saw how Devontae Adams thrived in Nathaniel Hackett's and Matt LaFleur's offensive system. If Nathaniel Hackett can just be in charge of the offense and not about motivating guys, I think that this Raiders team could look very different next year. And, they're 5-8 right now. They'd be 8-5 next year. So
possibly.
Well, that was that one, but yeah, very, very bad loss for the Raiders, who I think could obviously not mathematically eliminated, but
yeah, they're as good as
with the Chargers winning. They're 2 games out now. I think they're pretty much cooked.
Yep.
All right then. The New York Jets against the Buffalo Bills, where the Bills ran out 20-12 winners. And my
first half was deplorable.
Yes, it was bad. It was very, very bad.
I got Game Pass now.
Yeah, did you use it for this game? No, you were watching. Yeah,
I was watching the. I flicked off it because I wanted to just see the Giants, but I thought I want to see what it's like. It was more the adverts. I love the adverts.
Oh, they're so funny. They're so brilliant.
And I was like, "This is 0-0. How is it 0-0?
Yeah.
This is the team that's the top seed in the toughest conference.
Mm-hmm.
How are they 0-0?
Against Mike White, who threw 4 picks against them last season.
It's crazy, but they found a way to get it done. And that's they say grit and determination is a mark of a championship winning team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know it was rainy and everything,
Not
and
an excuse.
no excuses. Absolutely, I'm not about to go there. But Josh Allen is the most overrated player in the NFL today.
Okay.
And that's not to say that he's bad, because he is very talented, but I just haven't seen a convincing performance from him, really. And the way we talk about Josh Allen, the way people talk about Josh Allen, you expect him to be throwing for 350 plus yards, 4 touchdowns every game. But Josh Allen just doesn't have that Mahomes factor.
But he does have weapons, and if he's not utilizing the weapons properly.
Yeah, but that's the thing, isn't it? It's like, the weapons that he has. Stephon Diggs is an all-world receiver. Gabe Davis, very, very good number 2 option. Could number 1 in a lot of other teams right now, okay? And then Isaiah McKenzie, we know all about him. Dawson Knox is a top 5 tight end. Running backs, James Cook in a couple of years will be a top 10 running back in this league, okay?
And Devin Singletary.
Not happy about him.
No, I mean, he's good enough.
He's okay. He's not. I think that's the weakness of the Bills is their running game. But with all those weapons, how could even if it is raining, how do you excuse throwing for 100 yards less than Mike White, who has no weapons on the caliber of Stephon Diggs, right? Who's he got? Garrett Wilson.
Okay.
Exactly. Mike White took 2 of the biggest shots I've ever seen. Those are the kind of hits that you show people that say to you, "Oh, why do they wear all those pads in American football? Oh, they're just pansies, they're scared." So the hits Mike White took and came back into the game. All right, and I know he was obviously in quite a lot of pain, but he went 27 for 44 and 268 yards. Right. That's not horrible considering he was under pressure almost every snap, especially, I can't remember the exact numbers, but he was getting pressured a lot with just 4 rushers. So the Bills defense was having their way with the Jets offensive line. And to some extent, it was the other way around as well. The Jets defense was having their way with the Bills offensive line. So it was a very cagey affair.
Yeah, but I mean, Mike White was in a lot of pain. Take 2 paracetamol and toughen up.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's just... and we see Josh Allen is the leading rusher for the Bills again.
That's not good enough.
You can't. This is not a success, and it's why the Bills are not going to win the Super Bowl this year.
No.
And I know it's elbow hurts and it's raining and there's a lot of factors going one way, or the Jets have the best defense in the league. But the way we talk about Josh Allen, you should be having no problem. Patrick Mahomes would have no problem with this defense if he had the weapons that Josh Allen has.
I'm going to bring it up, and I don't mean to bring it up, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But the year that Brady beat Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Mahomes beat Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Mahomes won the game on 1 foot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you're not getting a pass.
Yeah.
And you know what? The Bills are the number 1 seed. And the problem is they're going to probably remain the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
The only team that can stop them is Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And do you know what? I have 4 elite quarterbacks in this league. 4.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Hurts is getting there. He's getting there. I'm not just going to say he's right. Joe Burrow is elite. The 4th one, I'm swithering on. Because on his day, Tom Brady's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
On his day, Aaron Rodgers is brilliant. On his day, Kirk Cousins is brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
But the 4th elite one I'm going to put in is actually Josh Allen, but he's number 4, and he's very close to sliding off my list.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Daniel Jones not even looking.
Look, it's very, Josh Allen's very Lionel Messi to me, right? I like Lionel Messi. I think he's great, all right? But with the way that we talk about him, you'd think that he would do crazy things every game. And instead, sometimes it just is a little underwhelming for me, unfortunately.
I'm going to hang up the call.
I don't know. Maybe that was a bad analogy, but I've never seen a Mahomes or outside of the playoff game again in January against the Chiefs, right? Outside
Josh
of
Allen, I'll do the analogy. Josh Allen is a Mercedes.
Yeah.
Right? Fantastic to look at. Lovely to do. Lovely to drive. Put it in the snow and see a crap. There's the analogy.
Yeah, I suppose that's a good way to do it. Just yeah, I mean, I just feel like a lot of teams, it's crazy to me that, you'd think, at the start of the year, we had Josh Allen number 1 on our top 99 players to watch in 2022 list. And to me, he's the reason they're not going to win a Super Bowl. I don't know. It just logically makes sense in my head. And I feel like there may be some people that agree. It's just Josh Allen's just so underwhelming with the expectations. I'd go as far as to say he's regressed. The mistakes that he's making, he leads the league in interceptions. And I know, the 2 quarterbacks that were in the Super Bowl last year both led the league in interceptions. So maybe it doesn't really matter. But I don't know. I don't know. I feel like there is a huge gap between Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen.
Okay.
But yeah, this game, Mike White obviously outplayed Josh Allen. It's that simple. Zonovan Knight, I mean, I can't deal with this guy, right?
Okay. Let's move on then.
Yeah. There's nothing much else to really say. The Jets kind of killed themselves. They turned the ball over twice. That was about it. So,
okay.
All right, we'll move on. The Browns 10, the Bengals 23. Joe Burrow gets his first win over the Kevin Stefanski Browns, as does Zach Taylor. They'd lost 5 in a row to the Browns, so that's a nice win for them.
Joe Burrow was brilliant, isn't he?
It wasn't the most convincing offensive performance from the Bengals, I don't think.
It wasn't. However, that throw to Jamar Chase, the first one.
Yeah, talk about threading the needle.
Yeah. And this is what worries me coming up in fantasy playoffs.
It's me versus you.
It is actually, yes. I've been trying to stop but it's just not working for me.
Well, I look like I have to go with Jared Goff for the rest of the year. So, I mean, anything could...
Who's your backup?
Kyler, but, I mean...
Oh, well, we'll get to that later.
He's done.
Yeah, but no, it was a weird game. And I just think, oh, well, fine. I've got a trade for you then. For fantasy.
It's me versus you this week. I don't think
I can still trade you someone. If you don't want to go with Jared Goff.
No, I'm happy to roll with Jared Goff. We'll get on
That's
to
fine.
him.
That's fine. That's just because I've got a thing where I've got Taylor Heineke in backup. And he's got an easy game this week.
There you go.
Anyway, but no, it was the what we're talking about there?
Bengals, Browns.
Bengals. It was Bengals played well, got the win. The crowd kept chanting at Deshaun Watson, which was pissing me off. No, I think we know that, but let's keep. It's like we discussed it for so long over the summer.
Yeah,
I just want to concentrate on the football. He struggled. Deshaun is struggling badly, but
he looked a little more better in this game. But I mean, relatively uncomfortable for the most part.
Yeah, I think next season we'll see the best of Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
But no, I just think great win for Cincinnati. Great win. The Ravens winning doesn't help them, of course.
Yeah, they must be annoyed that the Steelers couldn't have done them a favour and beat their rivals.
The highlight for me was, of course, the defense stopped Kareem Hunt. That was the highlight for me.
Yes. I mean, to be honest, the defense just stopped the Bruins run game. Nick Chubb had 14 carries for 34 yards.
That's
And, it
depressing.
resulted in Deshaun Watson needing to throw the ball 42 times, of which he only completed 26 of them. They had their first offensive touchdown in what feels like forever.
Mm-hmm.
With Deshaun throwing that. And it just kind of reinforces what we saw last week against the Texans. And it's like, with the Browns right now, 30 other teams in the league would beat them, and this is what it's done. The Bengals didn't even need to be at the top of their game. Joe Burrow was outstanding, 18 for 33, 239 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. They went 6 for 15 on third down, which not horrible, but not great. So, it's it is what it is. So I think that this was, turned out to be important for the Bengals to keep pace with the Ravens, and you'd think eventually they will maybe fall off.
Yeah, I would say so.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But I mean, you look at the numbers overall, kind of close. It was less than 20 yards. The Bengals had more than the Browns. They both turned the ball over once. Cincinnati had less of the ball. And it was 23 to 18 first downs in favor of Cincinnati. So it was close. It was close.
Yep.
But yes, nice win for the Bengals and my guy Joe Burrow, who hopefully will be winning his back-to-back AFC Championship.
Okay.
But yes, we will keep rolling here with possibly a surprise of the week, with the Houston Texans, staying up strong with the Dallas Cowboys, 27-23. And the Cowboys really only just won it.
You are banned from making any predictions on this show.
Yeah.
You said on the preview show it'll be the most cowboy thing ever to lose to the Texans, and they nearly did it.
Yeah. I mean, is that good analysis, or is it just, I don't know?
But I mean, do you know what the major problem for the Texans, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've got a merry-go-round at quarterback.
But the thing is that system just kind of made them unpredictable, and I feel like that's what put the Cowboys in fits, in a way.
I'm asking you a question then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we've seen all the quarterbacks for the Texans: Davis Mills, Jeff Driscoll, and
Kyle Allen.
Kyle Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go with one of them next season and try and bolster your defense, or do you take CJ Stroud or Bryce Young?
Oh, there's no question here. I mean, CJ Stroud and Bryce Young are generational. Well, I'd say generational, but they're head and shoulders, and I know that's hard with Davis Mills. They're head and shoulders above any of those guys there. So I don't think it's a question here. You need a fresh start. Going to be a new head coach coming in most likely. And I think a new top quarterback is the thing. But I think that, Davis Mills kind of showed enough over his time in Houston. I'm not saying he's going to leave or anything like that, but I feel like he could land somewhere and be a decent backup, and potentially even, make for an interesting quarterback battle somewhere during the summer.
It could be. However, it's a weird one, and the thing is, though, if you actually look at it, every now and then there's a quarterback duo that goes 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
One bombs and one's a star.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the last one I think we had where it was 1 and 2 was, if I'm not mistaken, was Andrew Luck and RG3.
No, it was just last year. What are you on about?
No, I'm talking about, because I'm not judging that now. Like,
oh, right,
can't really judge. You. But I'm talking about where you can now look back.
Yeah, okay.
Is RG3 and Andrew Luck.
I suppose, yeah. Aye.
Yeah. Then before that, obviously the big name where one was a star and one bombed was Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean. I know last year we had, obviously, but
I mean, to be fair, you could say that has gone that way already. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is on the up, and Zach Wilson could be on his second team next year.
Yeah, but as I say, I want to, because I wasn't even going to judge Trevor Lawrence because of his rookie year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was just a disaster.
Yeah.
So I want it where one had a fantastic career and one bombed.
Yeah.
That was what I was getting at. Not that
Okay.
obviously,
I get you.
you know what I'm saying. Thanks for that. You see, but no, it'll be a strange one,
Mhm.
and who knows?
Yeah. But yeah, onto this game. I mean, I don't want to put too much into this for the Cowboys. I think that, this was because we've seen great teams have nervy games against teams that they should be beating pretty comfortably. I mean, one of them
Super
that springs to mind for me, what's that?
Super Tony Pollard.
Yes, exactly. One of those games that springs to mind to me was the 2020 Packers. Almost got beat to the Jaguars. I think it was in week 13 or something, and they only had one win at that point, the Jags. And so we know how the Packers were that year. So I don't want to put too much stock into this really for the Cowboys. I think that, I don't know. I think this is maybe just a blip game. I think they'll be fine. One thing that needs to change is Dak Prescott, and I think that his tendency to force the ball into spots which just aren't favorable at all. He went 24 for 39, 284 yards, touchdown, 2 picks. Against this Texans defense, I don't think, did they have Derek Stingley in this game? I don't think they did. So, it's not like they had a top corner, top defensive back room. So yeah, you really got to say the summary of this one is the Cowboys escaped. But
Yep.
a win's a win. They are 10-3. They are just behind the Eagles still. They're keeping pace. For sure. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. The key, I think the offense has kind of really had their day all the whole way, because the Texans were 7 for 15 on third down, the Cowboys were 8 for 15. First downs 21-16, over 300 yards for both teams. The Cowboys had 404 yards. The Texans actually had the ball longer. They had it for 33 minutes and 14 seconds.
I'm not giving that because you can technically do that where you can snap the ball every time at 1 second in the play clock, and you'll end up with more possession. So I don't go with time of possession a lot, unless it helps my statistic.
Okay, yeah. So as long as it suits your narrative, it's fine.
Yes.
Yeah. The Cowboys, they turned the ball over 3 times to Houston's 2, and
some of the picks were embarrassing picks as well.
So that's what I say. I think that kind of propensity to just force passes into places which weren't really ideal. I think the Texans offensively, what's that?
Dak doesn't need to throw.
Exactly.
He only has to throw when he's Zeke in the backfield.
Yeah.
Michael Gallup only.
Yeah.
And then turn around and hand to Tony Pollard the rest.
I remember he could throw to Tony Pollard. How about that?
I could do that. I did that and got a touchdown.
There you go. So. I like the way the Texans approach this game offensively. Look, I mean, they're throwing the kitchen sink now. They're eliminated from the playoffs, and they're just having fun out there. So, to accumulate 327 yards against this Cowboys defense, which you said was the best in the league last week. Imagine if I said that, So it's So, like I say, kind of throwing different quarterbacks out there. So, Jeff Driscoll's running ability is really impressive. And Davis Mills can sling it. He went 16 for 21, 175 yards, and did have an interception. But, I mean, that was on that must have been about 65 plus air yards on that final throw.
Imagine the Texans messed it up and won 2 games by messing it up.
Yeah.
And they end up with a second pick.
I know. Yeah.
Anyway.
But for sure, this was like, I mean, I bet people are glad they didn't listen to us. We just have no idea what we're talking about when we say the Cowboys would have won this game by 17 points.
No, no.
In 27 or 28 we were talking about in the alternative handicap.
Anyway.
All right, we've got time for one more and we'll take a short break. We have the Detroit Lions stomping on those Minnesota Fraud Kings 34-23. Very, very nice win. Champagne is on ice once again for the Vikings. And it's not getting nervy. Look, I mean, it's not really going to be a question at this point. The Vikings will win the division, and it's not going to be, but the Lions, talk about resurgence.
Right, the Lions won. Just
I give Kirk Cousins his due. I mean, he probably played his best game of the year, 31 for 41, 425 yards, 2 touchdowns. It's just that defense let him down. And the way...
I'm not giving the defense that pass. The defense wasn't the problem.
You think?
It was the guy behind him.
Yeah.
Couldn't run.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 15 carries for 23 yards and a touchdown for Dalvin Cook. And that touchdown, I don't know about that, to be fair. The sequence of plays, the pass interference on, was it Jeff Okudah? I think that was uncatchable. But
the one that's annoying me, though, right, and I want to dig at the Lions here, is Aiden Hutchinson.
Mm-hmm.
Because some weeks he's brilliant, and other weeks he's almost like a non-factor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We make him on the off-season and review last year's draft.
Mm-hmm.
Did people get drafted? And Aiden Hutchinson's the number 2 pick. Nowhere near.
Yeah.
But, it's just the way it's worked out. And the Lions are very, very good. It's weird.
They are very, very good. Jameson Williams, who is playing in really his first game, coming off the ACL tear at Alabama. This is his first NFL game. Caught a touchdown with his first catch. So that's a nice look. And I want to talk about Jared Goff, because we've been saying for a long time the Lions, they're going to have a new quarterback next year, but Jared Goff has played his way into consideration for staying in Detroit next year, even if they do draft a young kid.
Pick me.
Yeah?
Pick me.
Uh-huh.
I've just looked at the Lions' remaining schedule.
Uh-huh.
Have you seen it?
I have not, but...
The Jets,
mm-hmm.
the Panthers,
mm-hmm.
the Bears,
mm-hmm.
and the Packers.
I mean, 10-7 is way, way possible.
Yeah.
With the way they're playing right now.
Can I make an NBC prediction?
Mm-hmm.
The Lions Packers is going to be the Sunday night game in the last week.
I was thinking that potentially. You see, the difference here, right, is that if this was the Packers that were making a surging run towards the playoffs, and the Lions beat the Packers to stop them making the playoffs, that would be one of the most famous days in Detroit Lions history for years to come. They'd make DVDs, merch, all that. We stopped them at their house. All this, right? See, it was the other way around, which is what it's probably going to be at this point, right? Is where, if the Packers beat the Lions and stop them going to the playoffs,
that'll be popping the champagne corks.
there won't be any mentions of that in Green Bay, after the day after the game. It'll be, we beat the Lions, but,
Do you know why?
Mm-hmm.
Because of your head coach, that's why, but we'll move on.
Mm-hmm.
But great win for the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
Kirk can't win big games,
mm-hmm.
but I'm still backing him.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be very interesting to see how the Vikings why they're struggling so much.
It's just, I think I stand by that, the comparison I made to them a couple of weeks ago, where I think they're very similar to the 2019 Packers. There's just, they're playing well, but the way they're, the record is 10-3, but the way they're playing doesn't really match up to that.
It summed up the Vikings' day.
Mm-hmm.
That throw to TJ Hawkinson, the one he dropped.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That killed the drive.
You could have caught that.
Yeah.
I could have caught that. It was arguably, Emily probably could have caught it. It was that bad.
Maybe he got the jitters against his old team.
No, possibly.
Justin Jefferson had a nice game, 11 catches, 223 yards. That was a nice pickup. Well, I'll say pickup. That was a nice accumulation of stats for me on fantasy. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, but he may struggle this week.
Mm-hmm. Who are they playing this week?
Indianapolis.
Yes, they are very good. They're number 1 rated against wide receivers on fantasy.
I tweeted Kirk Cousins.
Mm-hmm.
You could throw just to Adam Thielen all day.
Yeah.
Adam Thielen, KJ Osborne, that's it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hawkinson and Jefferson, not a Kirby.
I don't like how the Lions didn't really use much of their running game. I mean, CJ Moore was their leading rusher. He had 1 carry for 42 yards.
I
mean,
know.
Jamal Williams was just sat doing nothing for me in fantasy. I won anyway. I mean, I was playing Owen, the Empire Knights hero, so he set his team for like the first time all year to try and beat me and mess up my seeding for the playoffs. And once again,
yeah, let's not go there.
No,
because see on my fantasy, I had two players. I think 2 players that scored.
Oh yeah, taking off.
Foster Moreau and Devin Duvernay.
You're in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm in the playoffs, but I put them in because the Falcons advised, so I put them in. Because my bench was just quarterbacks for some bizarre reason.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, Lions 7 for 15 on 3rd down. That's just how you do it. I don't like this Vikings defense. I really, really don't. I feel like they're very susceptible. They insist on playing soft coverage. And that's why Jared Goff was able to, 27 for 39, 330 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yep. Well, got the win, and that's the main thing.
Yes, that's it. And I'm pulling for the Lions to make the playoffs. I think can do it. Sneak in that back door because they're only 1 game out now. But from being in that 7th seed, and if all things stay the way they go, the Lions would travel to Minnesota on Wild Card weekend. Now, wouldn't that be a spectacle?
I don't think that will happen.
You don't think?
Nope.
Look, well, I mean,
in fact, they will at Nunville. No, they won't because I think San Francisco will get 2nd seed.
I suppose Big Cock Brock hasn't proven anyone wrong yet. So
language, please. Language, please.
That's PG-13.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Right then. That's enough for. Well, actually, it's not enough for this game. Well, one last nugget is the Vikings are 10-3 and have a negative point differential.
Mental, innit?
Make of that what you will.
Means Kirk Cousins elite and can win shootouts.
His defense is pants.
It can't stop a cold.
Aye. Right. We'll go for a break. When we're back, we'll finish off with these last games. I say there's more games than we actually have in the first set, but we'll do it.
Yes.
You know us. I'll let you take the floor first for this one. We've got the Jags winning in Tennessee for the first time since 2013. 36-22, and while you're talking, I'm going to go and check if that is scoregami, because it sounds like it might be.
It was awesome to watch. It was awesome. Do you know, the one thing that I was dead happy about was Zay Jones's touchdown. Because about 2 drives before that, he dropped 2.
Yeah.
And Trevor Lawrence went straight back to him. And what was annoying was the amount of time it took to review it. The way I see it, right, and I don't know if you're with me on this. They want it as an offensive league, right? They want points, they want points, they want points. Now, what should happen is the referee should make a decision, touchdown or no touchdown. Then go to the booth. Yeah. If there's not sufficient evidence to overturn the decision, then stick with the ref's decision. You don't need a 4-minute break to discuss it.
It takes the momentum out of it because if it's ruled not a touchdown, then the offense has to go back out there again, and maybe it's like 3rd and 10 at that point. Yeah,
and it sucks the life out the crowd a wee bit as well. Make a decision. If you think it's a touchdown, go touchdown. We'll review it. Right, there's not enough evidence there. Touchdown stand.
Like a long review tends to suggest that they're taking a long time because they're looking for something, but they might be looking for something which isn't there. So
Exactly.
I'm not saying necessarily time, and maybe that's an off-season show for league suggestions. I don't know, but yeah, it's a tough one. And unfortunately, this is not a scoregami. This score has only happened 8 times before, not since 2017. So
It was brilliant to watch though, and great result for the Jaguars. They're not going to do anything though because Titans have probably no, not really though, because the Titans now are struggling a wee bit because they couldn't we couldn't stop Derrick Henry in the first half. But he is human because we punched the ball out and got a turnover.
There you go. Yeah.
But I do think that we're an off season and a draft away from challenging.
Yeah, I mean, you're only 2 games out from getting the crown, and with the way the Titans have looked the past 3 games, I mean, since making the Packers look like a clown car, they've been beaten pretty convincingly in a lot of these games, and that's a far cry from what we've come to expect from the Texans, in the season, where they won essentially, was it 7 straight? Was it six in a row, something like that?
Can we scratch what I've just said?
Yeah.
I think I've found the Sunday night NBC game.
Oh yeah.
Jaguars Titans.
Well, imagine that Jags on Sunday Night Football. I mean, if it means the division.
The last game, the Jags' remaining schedule is the Cowboys. Then it's the Cowboys, the Jets, the Texans, and then the Titans.
I mean, theoretically, if you look at it this way, right, the Titans only have to drop one more game before that. And with the way they're playing right now, it's not impossible. I mean, obviously the Jags have to win out. But
yeah,
because if the Titans drop one more game and then lose to the Jags in week 18, Jags win the division because of the tiebreaker.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it's not a long shot. Do you know what I mean? It's not crazy. Who did the Jags finish the season with? Let's have a look.
I've just told you the Jags.
Sorry, no, just their last 4 games. Okay, so it's the Cowboys next week.
The
Jets,
Cowboys,
Texans,
the Jets,
and Titans.
the Texans, and the Titans.
Yeah, so that's a big ask, but not impossible.
Did you do Tennessee's there? Just Tennessee. I've got the Chargers, the Texans, the Cowboys, and then the Jaguars.
Well, there you go. The Cowboys right there. This could come down to the wire, this division. This is crazy. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, 30 for 42, 368 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, the guy has just, he's here. He has arrived. He is what we were promised when the Jags took him number 1 overall last year. And he is phenomenal.
Yeah. Do you know, his rookie year, he didn't get an awful lot of breaks. He's in breaks this year. Etienne's playing well. The receivers, he's got on the same page as him, which helps. Evan Ingram, very dependable tight end.
He balled in this one. 11 catches, 162 yards, and 2 scores.
And the defense, of course.
Yes, no, it's been a real turnaround for the Jags. After what we saw, middle of October, going into November, where Trevor Lawrence was turning the ball over a lot. They were struggling, and we kind of thought, oh, this another Jags team is just going to fade away into nothingness. And now we're talking where they if they can win out, if they can beat the Cowboys next week, it is not out of the question that they can win this division.
No, definitely not.
That's the real last tough test. But at the same time, it'd be the most Jaguars thing ever for everything to go their way, set up that Sunday night game, and then lose to get pumped by the Titans. Yeah.
That's pretty funny. I've actually just mailed my mate there because he's actually going to that game.
Oh, yeah?
His partner and his child, they're going to Orlando in Florida, but he's obviously going up for the game. And I said, that game could get flexed to Sunday night football. How are you feeling about that?
That would be a spectacle.
Imagine telling your wife, by the way, I'm going up there for 8:20 our time. I'm working that night as well.
Well.
So it'll be good.
I think I might have a work night out that weekend, so.
Don't care that you're lying on the floor.
Yeah.
Watch the game with me, but you're on the floor.
Yeah. Let's look at these numbers. Jags, 428 total yards. I know you don't put much stock in it, but they had the ball longer than the Titans. The Titans only had 364 yards. The key one here is the Titans turned the ball over 4 times, and you don't win a lot of football games turning the ball over 4 times. So that's the key here. Obviously, Derrick Henry had a nice game, 17 carries, 121 yards, and a touchdown, but that's the minimum we've come to expect from him at this point. And to hold the Titans to just 8 points in the second half is a really good effort from the Jags defense, which I still think are a real, surprise. I want to say surprise unit. I think, solid unit, which isn't getting spoken a lot about. I think they've been disappointing in stretches. They're not a perfect defense, but they can turn up and they can have games like this.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, this could be a really exciting conclusion to the season for this division. And who would have said that when considering that 2 of the other teams are complete tire fires?
Well, what's the record the Titans have?
They're 7-6 right now.
And the Jaguars are
5-8.
5-8. So, well, hold on then, because the so the Titans have the Chargers. So say that's an L. Texans is an L. Sorry, Texans is a W. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Come on now.
Cowboys is an L. Jaguars last day is an L.
I mean, it might not even come down to the last day. If the Jags, from that point, is the Titans have a tougher schedule to finish the season up. The Jags could afford to maybe slip up and win the division at 8 and 9.
Well, that's what I'm just about to get to. Cowboys, L. Jets, Texans, and Jaguars. Jets, Texans, and Titans, all W's. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, no, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be really interesting.
I don't know why I'm so confident on this Texans W, because we all know how I am the first time.
Exactly. All right. We will move on to, I'm assuming, the most unpleasurable point of your week. Eagles 48, Giants 22.
Can I go for it?
Yep.
I obviously on the show took the Giants to win and the lock.
Yep, which was a smart move.
The only reason I did that was because I have that cushion. If I didn't, I'd have probably gone Bengals or something. But it was only because I had a game to play with. I thought, we'll go with that, right?
Yeah.
It was deplorable to watch. But what summed up the game was the AJ Brown. Was it AJ Brown, Devonta Smith?
Yeah, Devonta Smith. Yeah, the 4th and 7.
4th down, and he throws it, and all the bloody Giants defenders got to just knock it anywhere.
Yeah,
knock it the floor, knock it anywhere, and he misses it. He tries to go for the interception. He blew it brilliant, messes it up, and Devonta Smith wanders in. Do you know what? It was Jalen Hurts looking like Jalen Hurts. That's why I'm saying he's elite now.
Yeah,
and just book his ticket now for Arizona.
You think?
No, it was good. And Jalen Hurts is ascending, and book his ticket for Arizona.
To be honest, I think Jalen Hurts is the front runner for MVP now. I think obviously Tua's had a couple bad games stacked in a row. I don't think Jalen Hurts has had a bad game, and a lot of that's to do with being 12-1. But I mean,
MVP is going to be Patrick Mahomes, and that
I just don't think that.
This is the thing. Valuable is the word there, because valuable doesn't mean best. Because probably the best player in the NFL is Patrick Mahomes. But Jalen Hurts is more valuable.
Yeah.
To the Eagles, but we'll see how it goes.
We will be giving out the show's awards towards the end, probably after week 18. Would you be in agreement with me that Jalen Hurts would win our MVP award?
I would say so.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's fine. Well, obviously, there's still a couple of weeks to go, so things could change. But with the way Jalen Hurts is playing, and he wasn't even particularly spectacular in this game. 21 for 31, 217 yards, 2 touchdowns. Just again, the Eagles have proven that no matter what way you want to try and stop us, we will beat you in the other way. And they're going to finish 16-1. It's that simple. It's just I'm finished with the questions. I've been for weeks now, and now there's no way they can be asked anymore. The Eagles are the best team and will win the Super Bowl. This game was just kind of really over before it started. The Giants aren't built to come back from, 21 points down?
Yeah, it wasn't very good to watch.
Yeah, they can't get Saquon Barkley going. Daniel Jones, I still think he's done enough this year to earn at least one more year in New York, maybe like a 1-year prove it deal. But they've fast become a team that was high flying and are now, have only won one game in 6, and that game was against the Texans.
Still got to beat the team in front of you.
Of course, yes, of course, but it just.
Because the Giants' remaining schedule is, oh no.
That's never good.
Commanders on Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to discuss the Christmas Eve game.
Oh, is that? Yes, that's, yeah.
Giants and Colts, and then the Eagles the last day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't want to discuss the Christmas Eve game.
That's Vikings, isn't it?
How are we going to preview that?
You'll have to have a half and half scarf.
God, I know.
Yes, with this game, like we say, wasn't particularly close. Eagles were 6 for 11 on third down. They had 9 more first downs than the Giants, over 100 yards more, over 130 yards more. And no turnovers. That's just how you do it. And it results in a 48-22 victory for the Eagles. So nice win for them. And they're punched their ticket. That's it for me. They are crown them winners. I just don't know who beats them in the AFC right now.
Cincinnati, Kansas, Buffalo.
I mean, those are that's the three-headed monster. Well, that's the three-headed monster in the AFC. But I mean, just they've all got their own flaws in some way.
Miami. Did you not say the Chargers were going to win a Super Bowl at one point?
I said they would win the division this year. That was a tough loss for me. All right, let's move on.
Let's go.
Ravens 16, Steelers 14. Kenny Pickett came out of this game with a concussion. Is that his second of the year, I'm sure?
Yeah, Kenny Pickett got hurt. Mitch Trubisky came in. Mitch Trubisky looked like a magician, disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
How the hell the Ravens won it? The one game wasn't even entertaining. 16-14. It was off. It was.
A lot of it was down to J.K. Dobbins. Had a really good game. 15 carries, 120 yards, and a touchdown. Tyler Huntley gets his first career win in a start. 8 for 12, 88 yards. Didn't really ask him to do much, and he did fine.
Mm-hmm. Ravens won it.
Yeah. Any spectacular numbers to look at here? Ravens 4 for 13 on third down. Steelers 4 for 8.
By the defense. 3 interceptions Mitch Trubisky threw, I think.
Yeah, that was poor. Yeah, he played. Yeah, he more and more looks like the guy that we all knew from Chicago. I just still don't understand where his stock came from in the off season, where he was, the hot prospect for free agents looking, teams looking for a veteran quarterback to come in. Like, I mean, he played like a quarter for the Bills in a dead rubber. So I mean, I don't know. Excuse me. But Najee Harris, 12 carries for 33 yards. There wasn't really much in this. The Steelers did outgain them, but you don't win a lot of football games with 3 turnovers.
No, definitely not.
So, especially when the other team has none.
Exactly.
But yeah, not a particularly entertaining game, to be quite honest. Glad it's over. Just annoyed. The Steelers couldn't have done the Bengals. My Bengals a favor.
Well,
So that made me pull in for a Bengals Eagles Super Bowl, because then I'm happy.
No. Eagles aren't going to Super Bowl. Well, Eagles, I think, will go, but to get there, they're going to have to go through San Francisco. I think San Francisco will play them in an NFC title game.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, let's
keep going here. We have the Chiefs winning the game against the Broncos, 34-28. I think Russell Wilson did leave this game with a concussion, but he had probably his best game as a Bronco, 23 for 36, 247 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick.
It's weird because Russell Wilson can play. We know Russell Wilson can play. However, he will not be a Bronco next year.
I don't think so.
But I think, I'm actually going to go out on a limb here. I could see him heading back to the NFC West.
Yeah? Where does he go there? Cardinal?
Because all you would do then is swap contracts.
I mean, just, I don't know. I think it depends on who the Cardinals hire in the offseason.
Well, we'll get to that.
Well, yeah, that's an off-season program for sure. But this one, Patrick Mahomes, he wasn't particularly. This is the kind of thing where I think he's falling off in the MVP race. I mean, 3 touchdowns. They did have 3 picks. 28 for 42, 352 yards. There. When Jerick McKinnon, who's a running back, their leading receiver, he had 7 catches for 112. I mean, it's great for him, but it's not. It's not good. It's not good for the Chiefs' offense. That's not what you want. I think Travis Kelce had a pretty down game here. He was in his head a little bit, and of course he turned the ball over 3 times. The Patriots was turned the ball over 3 times. The Broncos' defense is legit, and credit to them for playing the. Playing up to the opposition, because I think a lot of teams may have just shut down.
Yeah.
But they're playing for pride. And the Broncos were eliminated from playoff contention after this game. I mean, to be fair, I think they were eliminated a long time prior, but officially eliminated in this one. The Chiefs 6 for 12 on third down, Broncos 6 for 17. Chiefs did have 111 yards more, 3 more first downs. The time of possession was very, very even, but nothing too much here to be worth saying. I think the Broncos did sack Patrick Mahomes 6 times in this one. So yeah, so impressive shown by them. It's like to say this defense is legitimately really good. And maybe with a new head coach next year, a new quarterback perhaps, maybe Kyler Murray suits more offensive schemes. He's got more of a bigger horizon for that kind of thing. Maybe we're talking about the Broncos, figuring things out this time around. All right. Anything else for you to say on this one?
Nope.
All right then. We're plowing through these here. Here is I don't know if I want to call this a shock, because I don't know if the team that won was the San Francisco 49ers. They blew the doors off the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady, 35-7. Brock Purdy, 16 for 21, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did nothing wrong. And I think it's a testament to Kyle Shanahan's offensive system. It's like, it's very quarterback friendly. Christian McCaffrey is made to do all the hard work, and he did. He had 14 carries for 119 yards and a touchdown.
I could play quarterback for the 49ers.
Yeah.
All you're asked to do is take the ball from the center, hand it to McCaffrey, or make a short throw.
Yeah.
That's it. And Brock Purdy will do it. Mr. Irrelevant is becoming relevant now. I'm going to make a prediction. If Trey Lance is not the man next year, he'll be the starter in 2 years' time.
Yeah. Could you
because
potentially even see
Garoppolo,
some of them last,
yeah,
in pinch hitting spots? Next year, did this game not really feel like a changing of the guard for you with the quarterback that was drafted very late, through really no fault of the scouts? I mean, who could have told you that in 2000, if you're sat 22 years time, Tom Brady will have 7 rings? Yeah, this guy is going to get picked 199th overall later on this year in the draft. He's going to have 7 rings by 2022. Did this not feel like a changing of the guard to you? Not so much essentially to Brock Purdy, but to Tom Brady is finally letting go of his stranglehold of being the best quarterback in the league.
Tom Brady is not sick of football.
Mm-hmm.
He's sick of Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But what I've just said there about Trey Lance, he won't be the guy next year either.
Mm-hmm.
Because the rumours Brady's going there.
Yeah.
I don't know, because the problem is Brady now doesn't have anything outside of football now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
His wife left him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very sad.
But it wouldn't surprise me if he went, Giselle, come back, I'll leave.
Well, she moved on pretty quick, can I just say?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
imagine if he moved on that quick.
I'll date Tom Brady. Have you seen his wages?
No, he takes team-friendly deals. Come on now.
Ah, well.
No, he only gets $16 million a year.
Oh, is that all?
This game.
To be fair, what you've just said is actually quite horrendous compared to Kylian Mbappe.
Oh, this boy is just freak.
He's on 42.3 million euros a year.
I was saying this to my manager on my shift today that as I was growing up watching like our football, like soccer, that it never really occurred to me that eventually one day there will be players that are younger than me doing really, really well. And now it's got to that point where Kylian Mbappe is I think he's about a year younger than me, and he's making all that. Whereas I could work for 24 hours straight for the next 10 years without rest, without shitting or stopping or anything, right? And I still won't have made what Kylian Mbappe makes in a month. Well, maybe that's hyperbole, but I don't know.
No, that's actually probably true. You look at Mbappe, Kyler Murray, even Trevor Lawrence makes more than me, and I'm 27.
Yeah, there you go.
Embarrassing.
One thing I just slightly off topic is I'm waiting for Activision to come out with the Kyler Murray skin for Call of Duty, because they've got Messi, they've got Pogba, they've got Neymar. Come on, let's broaden the horizons here, right? Let's put Kyler Murray in the game. He puts your name on the map in the NFL landscape. So let's get Kyler Murray. Let's get a Kyler Murray skin on Call of Duty, please. Thank you.
The wee guy walk about hurt the whole time.
I mean, he'd be great because there'd be less of him to hit, so it'd be harder for you to get killed as Kyler Murray. So, see,
yeah, but defensive lines find him very easily. Anyway, we'll get to that.
Yes, that's for another podcast. This game, 49ers had 404 yards, Buccaneers 322. Bucks turned the ball over 3 times. Tom Brady. This is the thing. It's like you don't want your 45-year-old quarterback throwing the. I've said this. You don't want Patrick Mahomes throwing the ball 39 times if you can avoid it, right? When you get your 45-year-old quarterback, who it's not so much arm strength. It's not so much accuracy as his problem anymore. It's arm strength. You don't want him throwing the ball 55 times in a game. And I know it got away from them, so I know they had no choice, right? But ideally, a lot of arm fatigue. Just get him out of there.
Yeah.
And I know he's a competitor. I know he's not going to be happy. But likelihood is Todd Bowles is going to be gone. And I think now at this point is the only way Tom Brady stays in Tampa Bay next year is if he doesn't retire, if he does continue to play football, I think they need to do everything in their power to get the man that was calling the defenses on the opposite side for their opponents in this game as their head coach, DeMeco Ryan.
Okay.
He is phenomenal. And I think that Tom Brady having like a defensive genius like he had in Bill Belichick all those years in New England would be enough to convince him for one more ride, especially if they can, if Byron Leftwich can figure something out, or maybe they get, somebody else in, because there will be a new hot name coming in on the offensive side of the ball that they'll want to talk about. Could it be Nathaniel Hackett? We know he's solid. He's got a solid offensive system. It's just not been executed to extent. But would you tell me, would you take Tom Brady or Russell Wilson?
Exactly.
So, yes. It's been disappointing for the Buccaneers this year. And I think, they should still win this division. Who do they finish the year with? Let's have a look. So they've got the Bengals next week. Cardinals, Panthers, Falcons. So 9-8.
Mm-hmm.
9-8, 10-7. I just don't know. It doesn't make me feel comfortable at all, really. But yes, they will win this division. You'd like to say. But we will see. But I just don't see. I mean, Carolina's only a game out. If Carolina beat them and they lose to the Bengals, and it's.
Yep. Anyway, let's move on.
Yes, let's go here. We have our last game of the before the primetime matchups. The Panthers, as we were just alluded to seconds ago, get a nice win over the Seattle Seahawks, 30-24. Sam Darnold stacking 2 wins in a row. The goods for him. And I think this is the game that potentially killed the Seattle Seahawks NFC West title hopes. Yeah. I think their division hopes are gone now, but I think they should still get enter the wild card.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. In this game, Geno Smith, 21 for 36, 264 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. So not great, not what we've come to expect from him. He does protect the ball quite a lot, but I mean, he's done enough this year. The Seahawks love him, the players love him, the fans love him. It's no question he'll be back in Seattle next year. If there's a mutual interest, and there's talks that it could be a multi-year, big-time, lucrative extension for him. So that would be great, and I think he could win Comeback Player of the Year for this year. It seems weird. I know we said, was he ever really here? But
yeah,
but yeah, Sam Darnold, 14 for 24, 120 yards on touchdown. So very Marcus Mariota-ish role in this one. Kind of left it up to Chuba Hubbard, 14 carries, 74 yards and touchdown. So yeah, not a bad performance, all things considered. The Panthers outgained the Seahawks. The Seahawks turned the ball over twice, as we said. And the Panthers had 8 more first downs, and they had the ball for almost 20 minutes more. So combine all those things together, and that's just how you just don't win games like that in the National Football League.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
The Panthers, well, both teams were 6 for 13 on third down. But yeah, it just I think one of the I want to say the killers is, but I mean, this it's a pretty well disciplined game for both teams. Panthers 6 flags for 29 yards, Seahawks 3 flags for 35 yards. So, not much in it. The Seahawks kind of let this one get away from them, it looks like, a little bit, with the box score, and it results in a loss. But yeah, so it's killed their division title hopes, but they'll still make the playoffs. They'll be fine.
Yes.
All right. Anything else on this one?
Nope. All
right then. Let's run the hurry up offense to finish these last 2 games. The game-winning drive, these last 2 games, with the Los Angeles Chargers beating the Miami Dolphins 23-17.
I picked the Chargers to win.
Yes, you did.
But it doesn't really matter. I mean, I think we finished level this week, but we'll get to that later on.
I need to count it all up, but
yeah, but I think we finished level.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean, Chargers played well. Highlight of the week was stopping Trent Sherfield. That was the highlight of the whole game. Stopping him. No, but it was okay, and Tua got exposed.
Yeah, Tua was really not good in this game. He's now stacked 2 bad games in a row. And as I was saying, I think he could potentially have won MVP. That's not going to be the case now. 10 for 28, 145 yards and a touchdown. Really not good. And I know that, he doesn't have his starting tackles, offensive line's beating that, but Justin Herbert has the same problem.
Exactly.
And Justin Herbert's team doesn't have a pass rush like the Dolphins do.
Exactly. And Tua got exposed, and no doubt they will be the wild card.
Yeah, I mean, they finished the year with the Bills. They're at the Bills next week. They've got the Packers on Christmas Day. They're at the Patriots on New Year's Day, and then they've got the Jets. So, is that 2-2? They beat the Jets and the Packers.
No, I think the Packers will beat them.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a thing. I mean, I hope. I don't know if I hope for that, because I don't know. What high draft pick? So it can go to bed early and we get good players, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, they're 8-5 right now. But if they finish 9-8, that's a real blemish on what was looking like such a very promising campaign.
Yes.
So for when they won 5 games in a row. But yeah, not good for Tua right there. Tyreek Hill, 4 catches, 81 yards and a touchdown. Dolphins 3 for 11 on 3rd down. That's just how it goes. The Chargers 9 for 18. Chargers outgained the Dolphins by over 200 yards. They had the ball almost 20 minutes longer. They had 10 more first downs. No turnovers in this game, but again, putting all that together, that's just how you lose games in the National Football League.
Right. Okay.
All right then. Let's finish things up here with a nice prediction by me. Glad I got this one right. Patriots 27, Cardinals 13. I think a lot of that is down to obviously Kyler Murray. Unfortunately, had to leave this game with a bad knee injury.
What makes it worse? It was a non-contact.
Is that stadium turf, or is it real grass?
It's real grass.
Real grass. It's tough, isn't it?
I'm going to say something, right? Just finish off the season, Arizona, right? Mm-hmm. Fire the coach.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
The Arizona Cardinals coach next year, if it's not Sean Payton, will be Jim Harbaugh.
You think?
Yeah.
Anyways, he did obviously flirt with the Minnesota Vikings this offseason. I think that, Kyler Murray's going to want to have a say. And I think that
Kyler Murray could do one.
Lincoln Riley could be on that list if he gets,
Lincoln Riley's on $110 million a year contract at USC. I'm not turning that down.
At the same time, though, it's like there's a lot to be said about credibility. If you turn down an NFL job, if they come hunting for you and want to offer you an NFL head coaching job, regardless of what you're on, there's only 32 of them on the planet.
But Nick Saban's never worked in the NFL, really, you know what I mean, since Alabama.
Yes, true. But, for Lincoln Riley to then have the opportunity, I don't know. We'll see. That's for another podcast. Kyler Murray and this is kind of just what it comes down to, as I've been saying, is do you really want to risk paying this guy knowing how injury prone he is? And I know this is non-contact, so I don't want to put much stock into this particular injury, but the greatest trait a quarterback can have is availability, and Kyler Murray just doesn't have it. And it's a real unfortunate shame that the Cardinals could potentially be in salary cap hell for a guy that misses 7 games a year.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah, it is. What numbers have we got on this game?
Kyler Murray went 1 for 3 yards.
There you go.
Colt McCoy was 27 or 23 of 30.
27 for 40.
Yeah, with about something like 200 odd yards or something like that.
On a pick, yeah.
Mac Jones wasn't much better either.
No, Mac Jones, 24 for 35, 235 yards and a pick. So yeah, both teams quarterbacks very even. Yards gained very even. The Patriots only had 5 more. Cardinals turned the ball over twice. Cardinals had the ball longer. They had more first downs. So, weird. It's weird, but I think, seeing their star go down like that, and it takes a facet out of the game, having Kyler Murray's ability to run between, make a move, and kind of, because obviously Colt McCoy's just a statue.
Well, trade him to Denver, swap contracts.
There you go. Big move right there. But yes, that will just about do it for this one. Both teams very bad on third down. 3 for 11 for the Patriots, 4 for 14 for the Cardinals. But yes, that will do it. Hurry up offense complete. We ran the score in, and there we go. Thank you very much for hanging out with us on this episode of the End of the Fourth Football Show.
Yeah.
The big switch off is coming less than a week now. So if you haven't listened to the audio shows, it's too late. It's over. You're not going to listen to them all in time. But yes, regardless, we will be moving on to YouTube exclusively. Check out our social links in the description down below. Thursday night preview show exclusively on Let's Talk Sports. So make sure you click their link down there. And we'll be back with the full preview show later on the week, probably Saturday. But yes, that's it from me, B-Hizzy
And the Prez.
Ciao for now.